Hey folks, welcome back, and thanks for hanging out, or thanks for coming aboard to check out DEADSIDE with me. DEADSIDE is a first and/or third-person looter-shooter survival game that's been out on PC for a couple of years, but just came to console a couple weeks ago. And so what is DEADSIDE? Well, where to begin? General consensus among people seems to be that it falls right in between gameplay of DayZ and Rust. The gameplay, the loot, the feel, the way that everything works feels very heavily inspired by DayZ. Instead of the undead in DayZ, in this you have bad guy NPCs that walk around and try to shoot you, and there's a much heavier focus on crafting and base building. With safe zones and traders and all sorts of dynamic events, it feels like a DayZ community server that's made its way into a standalone game, but like for all the right reasons. And right off the jump, you immediately notice that for what kind of game it is, it looks really good graphically, it runs incredibly smoothly. I'm always constantly surprised by how smoothly it runs for what kind of game it is. And you can free look with your head, which I absolutely love. Pretty much, maybe I'm an entitled gamer, but anytime I play a game now that doesn't let you free look around, kind of ruins it for me, ruins the immersion and situational awareness. So there are PvP, PvE official servers, or community servers, and so on. When you spawn, you're dropped into this gigantic map with up to 70 other players. Start with nothing but a pair of pants, a lighter, and a knife, so you gotta go do the looting thing. And you'll start looting normal, kind of you could call civilian loot, which all this will be very reminiscent to DayZ. Where you can loot these civilian kind of houses and locations for basic needs, some crafting stuff, water, and there are plenty of guns around, like pistols and scorpions and shotguns, so starting to loot, you can get lethal in like 1 to 2 minutes usually. There'll be all these different places that the loot gets better the deeper in the map you go. You'll have these places like this which are like hunting and loot kind of locations. You can find some food sometimes and medical supplies as well. There's industrial places that will have stuff for base building and such. There's dedicated military places which will have all military loot and so on. There's many different kind of clothings, and most of them will just give you more inventory slots and such. There are also helmets and face masks and hats. I don't think there's a temperature system, so I don't know how much that does besides the slots and protection. And looking extra cool and having some camouflage. You can also loot just about every building, which is pretty impressive. You can loot every single room in that building, which is really cool. You can come out here, shoot this guy on the roof, and shoot other people from the roof as well. All the clothing you can also cut up for rags, which you can use for various recipes and crafting, and you can also use to make bandages to stop bleeds and heal. There's all sorts of different other medications that you can do to give you buffs and heal for more. You can craft syringes to give you other buffs. There's this whole crafting system in here with all sorts of base building stuff and just survival stuff as well, and weapons and items and tools. You can find your own backpacks or make your own. As far as the survival part, you do have to eat and drink or otherwise you'll lose health. You can get berries, you can find cans of food and chomp on that. You can also find drinks and sodas around, a drink to help you fill up a little more as well. On top of that, you can also find water wells which you can drink at, or you can fill up water containers that you can find various water containers as well. You can also go duck hunting, and who doesn't want to go duck hunting without that stupid Nintendo dog laughing at you? You can also go hunting for other wildlife, and the motorcycle seems to do the job. Also, you can dig up worms to go fishing, but when you do, just watch out for the bandits. Ooh, that was close. And then you can go to your relaxing, peaceful fishing spot right next to you. Now, any of the food that you hunt or catch, you can cut up and get steaks from various types to give you different buffs and health benefits or heal you up. And except for wolves, they just give you pelts and bleeds, unfortunately. And you can go gather some sticks with your knife, go into your crafting option to make yourself a nice little fire. Throw your meat in there with some fuel or some kind of sticks and wood of some sort. You can just sit back, relax, and enjoy your hard-earned food, and hope nobody blows your face off. Now for traveling around the map, there's various options such as motorcycles, which you can use to get around pretty quickly and even fit a friend on. Sometimes people deliver them to you, which is really nice. Thanks, buddy. And you can use them to do really cool stuff like this. Yeah, cool, right? And look, you can put this little side pod on it. That's neat. They also don't work in the water. Yeah, that's good to know. But that's what boats are for. So pretty cool. You can load up your buddies on the boat if you want and go on a little boating adventure down the rivers and the coastline, which is pretty cool. And all the vehicles in the game also have their own storages, which you can fill up pretty well, so you can satisfy all your loot goblin desires and get around the map nice and easy, and they're pretty common and easy to drive. Now, if that all doesn't sound good enough for you, you can go visit these NPCs and fast travel to various points around the map. Speaking of NPCs, there's also various safe locations around the map where you cannot shoot each other, and you can go to talk to NPCs to trade and sell your stuff, to buy all sorts of stuff, materials, loot, clothing, goodies, attachments. There's also stories there, which I think is intended for more nomadic players and base builders. There's also these other various dynamic traders around the map as well. Speaking of dynamic events, there is a whole bunch of dynamic events that go on across the map, and they're all shown on the map too, so they are highly conflicted areas with good loot. There's these helicopters that drop these helicopter supply crates. Inside the supply crates there is very good loot. I don't know if there's like a tier system to it, or it depends on where it is the map. I haven't figured that out yet. Like here, me and a buddy, we go check this one out and we get some cool stuff, and I later go check this one out on my own, and you can just see that there's all sorts of goodies in there. There's also heli crashes, which seem to be protected by these highly geared NPCs that kind of kick my butt a little bit. And inside of there was also other epic goodies for me, and especially explosives. Now on the map there's also these quests and missions. They're all protected by NPCs. Depending on how difficult they are, they will tell you on the map is what kind of NPCs, like the gear they have and how many they are. And once you're done, depending on the difficulty, will also determine the kind of loot you get from it. And there's another situation where there's many of these dynamic events like this where it causes more player confrontation. Like this guy, I let him do the quest, kill all the NPCs, loot the chest, and I killed him and got all the goodies from him and the NPCs and made off looking like a Navy SEAL. And so with that and the NPCs that shoot you instead of zombies like DayZ, I think that really causes a lot more player interactions and firefights too, which I think is really cool. Now there's all sorts of attachments for your guns, like scopes and silencers and all that jazz. There are a lot of high-end military guns. I think there's like 30 guns in the game. I've probably only seen like 8 or 10. I haven't been terribly deep into the game. There's very large military areas further in the map. There's a whole friggin' airfield. This is one of the few ones that I've been to that seem meaningful, and this one's really small. And there's a lot of kit items like the binoculars you can use to scope it out and then run in there like an idiot anyway. But they're highly confrontational so far from my experience. Every military zone I've gone to that significant, I've gotten to firefights at, so I can only imagine what the deeper part of the maps are like, because I just haven't been that far yet. Now as far as the NPCs go, they are deadly, they can kill you, they do some damage. And even if you whoop their butt, you know, they could probably hurt you or cause other players to interact with you, which is just making more dynamic situations. You can also loot them just like players. Now the general consensus among players is that the NPCs can see you from stupid far away. Like these guys are shooting at me across the river. They saw me when I was like on the other side of the hill, which is kind of weird. But on the flip side of that, I've also seen them from like a kilometer out and then snuck up behind them as long as they weren't looking at me. And also they can see and shoot through grass and bushes, so that's tricky. They have an advantage there, but they can be kind of dumb. Their go-to tactic is definitely to run at you and shoot at you whenever possible, which can get you overwhelmed, but most of the time it just makes them more manageable.
Secret place? Oh.
What's this?
So that's like somebody's bed. You can put down a sleeping bag and then you can like respawn on it if you die.
So you can put down beds and sleeping rolls and you can respawn them with just a cooldown timer. It can be kind of cheesy, but you can put them where you're about to die. Anyway, well, you can chop down a bunch of branches and pretty easily set up a foundation for a starter base with just branches. You know, easy to break into, but as far as getting started and getting what you need to start base building, it is very quick. You just put up some walls, put up the foundations, you put a little storage chest that you put certain materials in to make your base not decay, and they are not really cost expensive, and they depend on how upgraded your base is or what the upkeep is. You can put various containers into your base. You can then go get yourself some logs, and you can further upgrade your base to logs, to planks, to metal and such. You can put power into your base for simple things like this, which will help me make my logs into planks to upgrade my base, but for many other base building needs. So the base building is pretty deep. I'm not typically the base building type, but the startup is so easy on this, it might be worth it even if you get raided all the time, and you can make cool stuff like this, I guess, whatever that is. As far as PvP goes, I actually fared very well despite the clips I'm going to share, but the gunplay feels very good. It seems a little tricky, like it's not just super easy, which is a good thing. There's many items that you can use to your advantage, such as the obvious ones like grenades that I use here, but overall the combat feels good, meaningful. There's a pretty quick time to kill. There are various armors such as ballistic vests and helmets that would make a difference in that, but otherwise pretty quick time to kill, makes the fights very intense. especially if you just went on a big loot run or you got some cool stuff. So very intense, exciting, dynamic fights that happen for various reasons, and you're either more prepared or not prepared, or you have to jump on them, or your stats are good, or there's so many different things that could make every firefight different, like DayZ, which I really like. Like this one, for example, this is my first time I kind of killed like a semi-geared guy. He had like weight vest that I never saw before, like a military backpack and assault rifle. So I got this cool ass loot, and as soon as I go up, as soon as I get up, I get ambushed and just totally fail miserably, but it was a good time. And then I fail miserably again while all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 players around me and just turns into a really tense and crazy firefight. And a big part of this game, themes, is when you die, you can see your body on the map and on your HUD, so it's pretty easy to navigate there and go exact your revenge and get your stuff back. Haven't run into it on the opposite end too much, and I assume it's a little different the deeper you go in the map, but you can also, make a sleeping bag and put it near somewhere you're going to go loot or you think you're going to get into trouble and respawn and get to your body pretty quickly that way, which sounds a little cheesy but intended. As far as random interactions go, I made a video of my first few interactions which are absolutely ridiculous, so they can happen, they can be fun and dynamic. I actually have had quite a few little team-ups which were fun, but most of them turned into somebody died and we didn't meet back up, or they were immediately like, oh, I'm going to go base build or go to my base and yada yada, and I'm like, I'm just going to kind of go do my thing. And so with that being said, I think that being in that mindset where they have a base or they have priorities, maybe there won't be as many interactions as DayZ. I'm hopeful that there are. I'm hopeful I can play that way and play a nomadic style without a base, or down the road make a base and have some fun with that. Because I'm not much of a base building kind of guy. I do on like kind of servers in different games, but just getting all the loot and having your base raided all the time is not my ideal of a good time. I'd rather just go die with the loot that way, like I do in DayZ. But we'll see where I end up swinging on that. So I hope you guys have fun. I hope you guys learned something about the game, and if you're interested, let me know if this made you buy it, or if you haven't thoughts, or what you think of the game so far. If you just started playing it, I think it's really cool. I thought it was worth a shout to put on my channel. I think there's a lot of people that are my friends or my followers who might be really interested in this game. And like I said, my kind of summary is for all the right reasons, like a DayZ community server at its own standalone game. I think it's really good. I think it's a good time. I think it's got a lot of potential, and I hope to see you out there. Take care.